I just wanted to explain a little bit of the AP exam to you since I'm not there, but I want you to practice some free response questions. So it's good to just go ahead and talk to you guys about what to expect on the AP exam coming up in May. Notice that our date is Thursday, May 17th. That is the second week of the AP exam, and it's like the last exam that really the school gives. So that's good because it gives us the maximum amount of time, but also just kind of know that you're going to be exhausted from your other AP exams. So just a heads up with that. And it is the afternoon. It's the 12 o'clock exam as opposed to the 8 o'clock. So for some of you that are like me and not really morning people, that's a good thing. So alright, let's keep going here. Alright, so the topics on the AP exam, I've listed them out here. We are currently learning planning and conducting a study, which is 10 to 15% of the exam. So that's about the percentage of when that's going to show up. This topic that we're learning right now is going to show up on the AP exam. Exploratory analysis, that's like the bar graphs and histograms and all of those things. That's actually our next unit after we finish planning and conducting a study. We'll get to probability around Christmas time, and then statistical inference, which is my favorite, and the largest part of the course will be shortly after Christmas, so basically your second semester. Okay. Now, there are two parts of the AP exam, multiple choice and free response, and it's 50-50. So 50% multiple choice, 50% free response. The entire exam is a total of 3 hours, so an hour and a half for multiple choice, then a break, and then an hour and a half for free response. The nice part is you have your calculator the entire time. So that's why I told you it's important to bring your calculator to school every day, because I'm going to be teaching you how to use that to your advantage. The formula sheets and tables, so for example the table of random digits, they will be given to you for both parts, as well as other formulas and such that I introduced to you along the way. So that's good. Alright, so let's talk about the multiple choice. It's really not much to say. There are 40 questions, so you're going to be doing 40 questions in 90 minutes. And basically, you get a score based on how many you get right. You don't get punished for wrong answers, and you get no points if you didn't answer a question. So basically, you want to answer all of the multiple choice questions. In the past, my students have finished the 40 questions in plenty of time, so I strongly encourage, once you finish, going back and looking again. The 40 questions do generally go from easy to hard, so once you get toward the end, questions 30 through 40, you're getting into some of the tougher questions. So that's just generically, so you should be definitely getting like the first 10 correct. Okay, so multiple choice, pretty straightforward. There are 5 answer choices instead of 4, but there's 5 answer choices. Free response. Okay, this gets a little complicated. The free response has 5 questions and then a 6th question, which they call the investigative task. This investigative task is worth 25% of the exam, so it's a pretty important number 6 question. The other 5 are worth 25% of the exam as well, so you can see how much they put on this investigative task. I'll talk more about it in just a second. Basically, you want to average about 12 minutes for free response questions. So in class, when we're practicing these free response questions, I'm going to pretty much time you, and I'm going to give you a maximum of 12 minutes. Now, some questions will take longer than 12 minutes, and some questions will only take 8 minutes. So I'll kind of make my best estimate of how hard the question is and how long you should be spending. But when you're on the AP exam, you need to kind of keep an eye on your watch and make sure you're not spending forever on one of the 5 questions. The investigative task, they suggest about 25 or 30 minutes for it. So usually my suggestion, so what happens is you're going to get all 6 of these questions at one time. So usually my advice is to flip to number 6 right away, put 25-30 minutes worth of effort into question number 6, then go to the 5 questions. You don't want to go through question 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because you may run out of time when you get to question number 6, and then that's 25% of your exam. You don't want to run out of time on that question. So just kind of keep that in mind. Of course, I'll remind you of all of these things during the course. So let's talk about the first 5 questions, 1 through 5. These are questions that you'll be seeing. They should be a lot like the questions that are on your tests and quizzes. They're pretty predictable. You should recognize these questions and be able to dive right in and answer them. But basically, the purpose of them is just to show that you know the content. And most of the time, they may try to mix. So you may have some probability and inference on one question, and then some graphs and experimental design on the other question. So they kind of mix it up. But basically, if you know your stuff, then these aren't really a problem. So that's those 5. The investigative task, that's the big number 6 question, is an opportunity to show that you know your stuff. But here's the hard part. If you read what I have on the screen here, it says to show the ability to integrate statistical ideas and apply them in a new context or a non-routine way. Basically, what this means is I can't prepare you for question number 6. I can't tell you what it's going to be. It's usually something just out of the ordinary. And they do this because they want to see, can you take what you've learned in this class and apply it? So we are going to practice where you can see where past tests have done this. You should be able to figure it out. It's just a little nerve-wracking because I can't tell you what this is going to be, and I can't prepare you. Besides, just know your context and just know that you're going to have to apply it in a way that you haven't done in the class before. Okay. So how do they score these questions? Well, all 6 are scored with a number. So for each of these, you'll receive either a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1, or a 0. So of course 4 is the best. You want 4s across the board. And then 0 is pretty much meh. That means you didn't get to it, or you just have no idea what's going on. You didn't get anything on it. So of course we want you guys to make 4s on everything. And I'm going to try to train you to know how to make sure you get 4s. Okay. And then within each free response question, you'll have multiple parts. You'll see when we start practicing, so like an A, B, C, D, and on each part you get scored either an E, a P, or an I. An E meaning that you got it essentially correct. So I guess they use that language because in statistics there's not always like a perfectly correct. So essentially correct. You did it. You met their guidelines or their requirements. P means, okay, you did pretty good. You got it partially correct. You maybe messed up here or there. And then an I is if you didn't get it right. Okay. So that's nice. It's kind of like getting partial credit. So each part gets an E, P, or I, and they kind of add it up, and then you get your score of 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0. Okay. So that's kind of the basics of the AP exam. We'll be talking about it as we go, but I want you to practice what I call frappies. free response AP questions, or free response AP practice. Yay. Sorry, I had to think about it. So if you hear me say frappies, that means we're practicing free response, which are the easiest to practice in class. So I want you to practice some of those, and then practice grading yourself, giving yourself an E, P, or an I, and then scoring it. Do you get a 4, 3, 2, 1, or 0? Right now, since we're pretty early in the course, I'm going to be okay with you scoring yourself, but just kind of keep in mind that eventually what I'll probably do is make you grade each other, give each other's E, P's, and I's, and so just kind of keep that in mind that we'll be doing that soon. So don't be nervous or afraid about it. It's just it helps for other people to score you besides you scoring yourself. Okay. All right, but let me know if you have any questions. See you guys soon.